What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Members Only Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are after the fact and new to this channel, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you want to partake in these members only live streams. Now, this is the third attempt in a row for a stream that goes live, but after the third live public stream, I'm going to do this members only because it's just embarrassing having constant computer crashes during live streams. So if you are a member enjoying this, welcome. We are joined by Righteous Force, Matthew, Neil, Quantum Eraser, the Adam Meakin, Brian, Arwin, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome, one and all.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Today.
Hello.
Pastis los muchachos.
What I'm going to do with the live stream that went out earlier to the public, which was only 6 minutes long, is leave it because it actually has a fairly concise description of a geometric tangent point horizon claimed by the Triggered Limey, and it was also discussed on the previous show that also crashed. So rather than constantly rehashing the same point about the same comment about the same tangent point that was debunked in 2020, I'm just going to leave that 6 minute stream up. Why the hell not? So that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully this stream will go up for a full hour to the live members. Hello out there, by the way, members. Who we got with us? We've got Divergent Droid. He's a member, but he's the mod, isn't he? One Mind, One Spirit. Good to have you. Slow Motion Moon Buggy. Good to see you. Richard G. Godzilla. Thanks for coming. What else we got? Neil, you're on the panel. Zedetic News Network. Good to have you. Hopefully we'll get a few more members joining us. But we are live, just so you know.
My question wasn't rhetorical.
What was your question? I wasn't even listening. I'm more concerned with this computer.
Pastis los muchachos.
Ask him to spell that, Brian.
Yeah, I saw that in the Master B in the Master B
Bad
comments.
Spanish.
It's the same thing we started off with the last show. I was quickly snubbed, though.
I mean, we could do a couple of housekeeping questions just to get us in the mood. Is there any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
There's evidence. There's evidence of the R value, but how they got it, that's the question.
From a flat Earth?
Fair enough.
Not really.
Not really fair enough.
No,
not really
not really. It seems unreasonable that they're using a differential calculator that's basically exploiting the fact that we do live on a flat plane to extrapolate out the idea that we've got a geometric tangent point horizon no one can see below surface level. That doesn't seem fair enough to me.
Well, you go, girl.
Excuse me. Well,
It seemed like the thing to say.
speaking of pink writing, any evidence or scientific evidence of gravity?
Gravity, you'd have to define it first.
Well, you were saying about getting the pink writing back out for what? I don't know. I wasn't paying too much attention while I was focusing on numbers and dials.
Yes, I did get the pink writing back out. I found it and I made its own file. I think it's time to return to mama.
Well, let's do it. Who's the most well versed in what are we going to ascribe this new? I'm going to just call it gravity, but this new gravity. So we've had 3-dimensional gravity, 4-dimensional gravity, and then on with multiple dimensional gravities. You've got quantum gravity, incoherent dielectric acceleration is just another version of gravity. And now we've got bottle tossed out of a window with a medium within a medium gravity. What are we going to call that?
Acceleration gravity.
Well,
No
that's general relativity. That's more or less same kind of thing as general relativity. So there's only 5 gravities. There's what they call Newtonian. There's general relativity. There's yet to be clearly defined quantum gravity. There is electric gravity, which is dielectric acceleration, and there is specific gravity, which is relative density.
There's no quantum gravity.
In name only.
Oh, it's coming.
I've very specifically heard people give or ascribe a reification fallacy probably with the title quantum gravity. So while no, yes, I completely agree with you. That was a weird sentence. No,
Well, no,
yes, I agree with you.
Hey,
Yeah,
when I
because
hold on. I have a logistical question. When I present my screen, do I do entire screen, a window, or a tab?
Depends what you want to
full
present.
screen.
Depends what part of the screen you want to present.
I want to present the pink writing.
A
Tab.
tab, I would say.
Tab.
Yeah. You should automatically just knock off. I haven't got one, Bill or Bob or whatever his name is.
No, that's not showing. So that's not the correct answer. That's not giving me a choice.
A window, QE, a window, because you want to share. It's going to be something that's off your computer, isn't it? Did you have on your
correct.
computer?
Correct.
A window there.
Ta-da!
Hey, brilliant. Okay, so this is for those of you who are unaware. Go back to any debate past about number 1500, maybe even earlier than that, and you'll come across an abundance of ball-believing muppets coming and telling us that we're science deniers and that they've got scientific evidence for various claims that they make. So as soon as that would get aired, let's say by a baller, in this instance it isn't that we're discussing, but it's not the point, somebody would say, well, of course we've got science for gravity, we've got Cavendish. And this would pop up on screen and you'd hear from the background, Huey, that's your cue.
Observe natural
And they don't.
phenomena, please.
Exactly. So,
This is the wet fish.
wet fish. Did the nurses see Adam today? Is he okay?
So, when I first met John, this is the thing that felt like I got slapped around the face with a wet fish, because it's even someone with my background. These are the basics that you just leave and forget, and you can get cajoled into doing other things. But this was the wet fish that slapped me around the head and brought me back to reality. Just this simple, very simple, just one screen with pink writing.
It's nice hearing you as an academic say it's just the basics that you get that you know and understand and leave behind, because I remember asking QE why it's so difficult to find a citation specifically detailing step 1, observe natural phenomena, step 2, formulate a hypothesis, step 3, actualize hypothesis with experimentation, step 4, report or restart if you've validated your null. Why is it so difficult to find that in citation form? And the answer is it's so basic and rudimentary within science that it's almost an insult to a professor in a university to start detailing this. So therefore, you don't often find people detailing it. It's like saying, why don't you find in mechanics university them talking about the H pattern on a gear change? It's like, because they're talking about stripping gearboxes, not about the basics of moving it in and out of first gear. That's so rudimentary to an engineer working on a gearbox that it's never going to get mentioned.
You can find it, but it's in pieces.
Sure, and often there's a baller bias in some of these things as well. Some of the people you will dig out quotes, and I've heard you do it, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll read out the quote, and you'll go, well, that's not quite right, but we'll brush past that. In other words, there's always slight inaccuracies in some of the citations that lean towards their personal bias.
Yes.
So you still, even then, you still have to qualify a lot of the citations to a certain extent, because it might have an or instead of an and, for instance.
Yeah, but this
John
is it.
bring this.
Go ahead.
Did John bring this screen up just for that, or is someone claiming something?
Yeah,
No one's claiming
subtle.
coconuts.
Very subtle, very subtle. No, there is a claim. I mean, that's what I was going to ask right at the beginning of the live show. We're still live, by the way. What's it been? 10 minutes?
It's
Six.
been more than 6.
More than 6, yeah.
Why'd
but-
you have to say anything?
Which kicks me off.
Just
for what
shut up
you know
and
what I think.
continue.
Should be it.
Go on, whoever that was. Is that Matthew?
It was Neil.
Oh, Neil. Go ahead.
Said don't jinx it.
Use the
Keep going.
concept you just wrote.
Neil, you can't be on a show with your radio on in the background. I mean, bloody hell, mate. Seriously. You've got the radio on.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it's got the radio on in the background. It's just, what's next? Sat watching EastEnders with popcorn. Yeah, I'm on the show. Just watching the telly. You're right, lads.
I'm trying to get in between my brother's radio. Sorry. Just shut up and keep the show going and don't jinx it.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks for the advice. It's not like I got enough stress. Anyway, yeah, 11 minutes of live show. That's better than nothing. Can't really grumble. Strictly speaking, it's been connected live for 26 minutes, which I can't. As you can hear, I am aghast that a simple graphics card update has managed to solve that problem. It might not.
Jinx that now.
It's just going to crash immediately now I've said that. But so far, it's still working, right? So all I've done is update the graphics card drivers. Literally, that's all I've done. Okay, it seems to be working though. There we go. Whatever, I don't care. Fine. So yeah, this pink writing, go back circa show 1000, I guess, maybe there or thereabouts. And there was a turnaround. There was a certain point in Flat Earth debate where the assertion that we were science deniers got left by the wayside in respect to our opponents, that is, their accusations aimed towards us of being science deniers were left by the wayside because of the pink writing. Because any time some fool came here and started to claim we were either science deniers, we'd go, well, what science are you offering? What do you mean? What have we denied? Let's hear it. Oh, of course you're going to deny Cavendish immediately. Oh, yeah. Observe natural phenomena.
It was in response to the circle jerk, because what would happen they would change their story midstream. And it happened many, many times on the pink writing shows, if you'd remember correctly. I'd have to go back and erase and then come back again. Okay, what's the observed natural phenomena again?
The one that sticks in my
And there
mind the
would
most
be
was Kosho with Gravity, and he basically went through the process and then started to do the old switcheroo with the, oh, no, that's not the phenomena, that's the cause. Like, we established what your phenomena was. We wrote it down. It's on screen. There's 150 people looking at it. So you had to do that because they'd just change it. No, I didn't say it was the cause. No, it's actually the effect now. But you just literally switched it to the cause 2 minutes ago. No, I've always said it's an effect. It's the effect of it. Because it's called that. But I also need it to be the cause.
This is what I remember. It's on screen.
Yeah, you get that a lot. It's on screen. Everyone can see it. It's there in the pink writing. But that's where that process led us to certain ways of disseminating how they categorize their claims scientifically. For example, with Cavendish, the pink writing led us to this particular assertion in terms of mass that we may not have got to, because, no offense to QE, but he's going to stop you in your tracks if you start claiming mass, and you'll be into defining it before you get into the pink writing, offering you up this tool to lead a baller down a path of declaring that your phenomena is mass, your independent variable's mass, the result is mass, it's all mass. So you end up with a hypothesis that was constructed thus: if mass, then mass attracts mass. That's where we got that from. That's from the pink writing. I think that might have even been Kosho.
Wow, I can't remember. There were so many shows we did this, man. Why did we ever stop? I don't know.
Oh, it's because of the Black Swan. So the Black Swan came, and we subtly got suppressed down the YouTube algorithm. Simultaneously, everyone around us was losing arguments that they came here to try and win, and were being left like people like Bob. You know, they'd come in and try and make an appointment to see us on the show, and we're like, where's your tangent point? When can I make an appointment? Well, people like that obviously got sick of me trimming out their, embarrassing 16 renditions of where's your tangent point, where's your tangent point, where's your... Well, I'll just make an appointment to come next week then, shall I? And then eventually I haven't got one. Well, those are embarrassing and they just stop wanting to come. So they blame me for being able to mute people. It's like, no, you all lost arguments here, so you stop coming. Ruhif, right? Is it the mute button? Or is it because we're asking him where the geometric tangent point horizon he told us was refracted is? It doesn't exist. It's been utilising a flat plane all along. Do you think if it was just because of the mute button, he wouldn't be on every other show disseminating his argument? No, he can't. It's embarrassing. Why? Well, because we took it apart. So they can't come anymore. So therefore, there's no numpties to put the pink writing in front of. We'll have to do it on their behalf. And I'm not saying Dell's a numpty, but I'm just saying in this respect, we'll have to figure out who's the best at postulating or disseminating his information as they understand it. Because Dell's not here to put it up on the pink writing. He's, from what I understand between you guys, not that I necessarily care, I will assume, without watching, that Dell's critique of the show was in regards to the claims that he is making and our critique of his claims. In other words, because we're on track, there would be no reason for Dell to disseminate or to sync to a personal level in regards to any of the panel members. But from what I understand, having not watched it, he was mostly critiquing Brian and Arwin. But hopefully not in any personal way. I'm just hoping he's just kept on track like we would want to, and dealt with some of the points that were raised. Did he? Anybody know?
I only tuned in, and I can only say thank you, Dell. The only bit I heard was in response to something Brian said. Brian said, "Oh, Adam's said this," and Dell paused it and said, "Oh, the great Adam. Let's hear what the great Adam's going to say." So, thanks for that. I appreciate that compliment, Dell. That's all I've heard.
Other than a backhanded compliment for Adam, does anybody know of any critique in regards to what was discussed amongst you guys specifically that he addressed, or offered any rebuttals for, or offered any new claims for?
I haven't heard it, Nathan. What I heard about it was...
No, stop. No, don't get into a long-winded explanation about what you heard about it third party. Has anybody watched Dell's critique of our show?
Yes, I did.
Right. Notice how, because there's a potential for some bad vibes here, it's become our show.
and if you can read my comment, it was like a 15,000 character, 10,000 word dissertation chopping his head off. And I'm waiting for a reply, but it got highlighted. I don't know who highlights these things, but it got highlighted with two thumbs up. So I don't know whether someone else highlighted it, YouTube highlighted it, or
Let's
he
hear it. Read
highlighted
it out.
But
I'll shout out JML's super chat, and then let's hear your comment. I mean, obviously, if it is actually a 5-page, maybe not, but I'm sure it isn't. I'm sure you're exaggerating.
Basically, cut things.
Just one sec.
Just to
Shout
make
out to JML's 24. Says, I've been busy. 4 more hours. We're lucky to get 4 more minutes of the state of things at the moment, but thank you for the super chat.
These are the 3 points I made. I said, number 1, I don't care whether you're talking lateral, up and down, backwards, forwards, bouncy, wouncy, spin around, shake a hip, whatever. The earth is not moving. Secondly, no one from FED claimed, or even strawman claimed, anything about earth movement. All we did was reiterate what you are now stating and claiming, which is the same thing. The nonsensical claim that the earth is moving. I don't care whether you're saying spontaneously, accelerating, expeditiously, or slow motion. It doesn't matter. We're not moving. That's basically what I broke it down. And I said, you're welcome to come on the show if you want to bring that smoke, because you seem a little frustrated and you seem like you want to vent. So and Divergent Droid gave me the link, and I gave him the Discord link, and I said, welcome, come on, speak your mind. So that's just roundabout what I told him.
Very good, D-Rose, very good.
Because I didn't like the fact, it wasn't, excuse me, I'm sorry, it wasn't about just his claim, and I know this is redundant, but it was all about the insults. The ad homes got to the point where he was like really, being very disrespectful, calling us this and that, calling Nathan specific names, You know, and I expect that, you know, because that's what McToon and all the other guys do. But something about the way he did it was almost like, I don't know, it was a little bit more agitating to me. So
Didn't do that to me, D Rose. Called me great.
Let's pull up the
he went
video.
off
Let's
on
hear
Brian.
it.
It seemed like
Well,
he
let's
was
hear it.
infatuated
Not
over
until we've
Brian.
had it.
Let's hear it.
I'm sure the video's lengthy, right?
Yeah,
I'd rather
he was.
anybody at all gives us an idea about what he's particularly offering in the argument before we go to
The only
video.
way to do it, listen, we've had problems ever since the beginning when this started up about receiving information right from the horse's mouth, right? So I don't know whether Dell's the horse, but it sounds like he's one of the horses. So the only way we can get clarity is to watch his presentation or the video and not others, you know, comments underneath the video and just arbitrary shit. Let's get to the fucking crux of the biscuit.
Nice round, please.
Exactly.
He-
Okay, I've just had a message
does it
here.
in the first
Hold
15
on, I've
minutes,
got some
though.
clarity on the situation. Hold on, I'm just reading this message. It says, yes, Dell is indeed a horse.
In a quarter mile, merge onto Georgia.
Good, nice traffic
And
update.
QE.
No, I will say, right, I think it was just before QE Live the other day, and the video come out. I said, have you seen it, QE? And I still haven't seen it. And he just started laughing and went, he's done an analysis video of Flat Earth debate. I love that man. I love the cut of his jib. So his man crush has only grown more because of this.
Sickening.
And it's very good, QE, that you said what you said, because that's one of the things I said. I said, if you have a problem with the misconstruing of your claim, or if you're trying to say we're straw manning your claim, I said, don't get mad at us. Get mad at the messenger. Go holler at the messenger, because all we're doing is verbatim criticizing the claim, whether it came from you or whomever you sent over to us, which was that guy who got on there. I think he got on our main chat thread and started sparking this up a few days ago, or maybe a week ago. I don't know exactly when. I said, but, you know, come to us if you want to clear this up.
What's the claim?
That he was trying to say that Brian, with so many ad
No,
homes,
not the Brian. No. What is the
He-
claim?
I don't know. You have to ask Dell. I'm not.
See,
I'm
that's
not
This is
what
a
I'm
big
talking
problem,
about.
right? You want me to? You're saying let's look at the video, but if this is it,
Yes.
if that's it, if it's just Adam is amazing, Brian isn't, Nathan is obviously amazing. He's not going to say anything other than that, obviously.
Hey,
Okay. To make
If
to
there's
make it short
anything
and sweet, he was
else,
saying,
something we could get our teeth
saying-
into.
he was saying he never said the Earth accelerated upwards. He was breaking down the difference of an object. He was giving an example of the car motion this way and the helium balloon goes that way. He was saying everything.
I totally
contradicting
understand it now. I totally understand the claim now. What the fuck?
That's no swearing, please. We are live.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Quick shout out to Godzilla37. Says my first super chats went down with your PC apparently. So here's a new one. Hi Neil. Yeah, well they did get on there. I did put them on. They did make it into the 6-minute live stream that is now going to be retitled something to the effect of Triggered Limey versus Bob the Science Guy. What is it? No Atmo Day, something like that. But your super chats are on screen, so I'm not going to remove them.
Hey, I have to pop out for a minute. I'll be back in about 3/4 of an hour.
I don't give a shit.
Well, I
See you later, Brian.
Seem important by saying it. See you later.
See you later. Should we just?
I wouldn't like Dale to come in. I mean, if there's a chance to learn something about the natural world, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But I would like to hear it.
But that's what I'm saying. Right, so Delta Friendly, he's on our side. Now, he might be pissed because we're critiquing his stuff. Now, I'm sure we can all get over that. And I know Del reasonably well from seeing his videos. I've interacted with him a couple of times. I'm sure he's reasonable as much as any of us when we're under the amount of pressure we are under as flat earthers. And Del's going to be subject to that too, so he might be a bit tetchy, he might be a bit short-tempered. However, if there's something to learn here or something we don't understand, it'd be nice to hear it. And if somebody from Del's side, there's a specific reason that the show intro's got express your views on the nature of Earth. It's not that we necessarily hear. Let's put a different spin on it. When I look up at the sky and go, I wonder what that is. If someone says, I think I know, I'd love to hear it. That's exciting. Now, if they come and go, based on my bullshit notions that I've made up, I think it's this. What do you think is going to happen? Right? But in this case, I don't fully understand what's being claimed. Now, if I've misrepresented it because of my lack of understanding of it, well, it'd be great if somebody who does understand it, that Dell's passed the information to, that's understood his concise explanation, comes on and goes, look, this is what he's trying to get across. You're not watching enough of Dell. No, I'm not. Well, you know, but I do run a show about the nature of Earth, and if somebody's so passionate that they feel this is something we should know about, someone eventually will come on and go, this is how it's working, you guys just don't understand. Hopefully with, you know, without a derogatory tone in their voice.
Well, I listened to 15 minutes and Dell said if he's got any problem, come and see him. But he knows where Flat Earth Debate is. He could come on.
Why would he assume that there's a problem?
The problem is that he can't prove the presupposition.
But that's very much
That's
a
it.
him
What-
problem,
what-
isn't it? That's his problem.
Yeah,
Well,
and
what
he's
he's saying is,
complaining about it.
if anybody causes me a problem, come to me. Is that what he's saying?
Man, he was acting like bring that smoke, you dumb motherfucker.
There isn't any smoke to bring.
That's how he was coming.
But what smoke?
He was coming hard.
What smoke?
Yeah, that
We're
means,
saying
you know,
It's all
you know,
feelings.
bring-
Dell was just really riled
hold on
up.
now,
It's
hold on, D-Roy.
springtime.
Hold on. What smoke? We're literally saying if we don't understand something, we want to understand it, right? Now, it ends up being the case that when you haven't got much to back up what you're claiming, you're going to get annoyed with us, right? You only have to look at the incoherent dielectric acceleration kerfuffle to know that people don't like us pulling apart their claims when they don't have much evidence to back them with. Now, if Dell's suggesting that he already knows he's on a weak or hiding to nothing or whatever you want to phrase it as, and he's like, but if you want to challenge that, come to me. No, I'm not that interested. But if you've got something good, I'm keen to hear it. You know, or if somebody's like, well, Dell's not going to come to you, why would he? Well, I'm not asking him to. I'm saying I'd like to understand what's being explained. If it's important stuff, somebody somewhere will come and go, this is how it works. Dell's explained it, and Dell's good at explaining stuff, so I understand it. It's really easy. Here you go. If you'd have watched, you'd
No,
have
he's
understood
not.
it.
He's not good at explaining things. In the first 15 minutes, he draws a diagram and goes through his whole claim. I think you should just watch it.
I've got a 5-minute bit here, which I think kind of outlines the position a little bit. This is the bit where I joined in because I was just searching for the bit where this guy's on the roof, running around on the car park. So that's the bit I tuned in at. And I've just had a quick listen. Maybe it might give us an idea.
Well, just
Dell's
before you
position is.
do, I'll just make you aware. I'm gonna make this show public, so it's members only currently. But as it's working, I don't see any reason why I can't shove it out to the rest of the public.
Brilliant. Look, Nathan, shall I send you this timestamped and then you can pause it?
You can carry on because I'm doing stuff now. I'm changing titles
Okay.
of the show and stuff. So, can anybody know? Does anybody know the number of the last show? Because I'm going to use the same number. What was the last show that went out live called?
Not sure.
Oh,
Hold on.
I think it's 1891.
It's 1891.
Should I call this 1892, given that we've had 3 1891s already?
That's a good one.
I'm going to call
Yeah,
this
well-
1892.
You're outside the convention of counting there.
I am slightly working outside the
Let's call
convention
it
of normal
C.
counting. Yes.
1890C.
And by the way, I went and got the video with the timestamp, starting with FED per Dell. It's in Master B.
Can you follow those, Adam? Oh, if I don't get on with this, I'm being distracted already. Let me just. Is it all? It's probably all crashed while I'm going to change it to public.
Have you got timestamps, you say? Okay.
I got a timestamp. This is when he first starts with FED. It is at 39:56.
39. Well, I've got 139.21. That's where I'd kind of found it. But 39.
39.56.
56.
Let's see the
Okay,
infinity mirror.
Just FYI, we are now going out to the general public live, just so you know.
Cool. Well, I'm queued up, so whenever you want me to start, just tell me, Nathan, and chat if you want me to start.
I was ready 5 minutes ago.
We've still not said start, though, have you?
Go
Do it,
ahead,
do it
Adam,
now.
whenever you are ready, given it's you with the play button. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to wait for Arwen to do it in his Terminator
That's
voice.
a good point. Good point.
Do it.
Neil
do it now.
and who else is likely? Neil and Arwen. Go ahead. Get it all out right now. Go ahead.
What, I need to do it a third time?
Rumpus.
Do
I
it.
didn't
Do
say
it
I didn't
now.
say a word.
Come on, get to the chopper.
Hey.
Perfect. Tell us that you didn't interrupt.
Calculation.
You've got it. And Brian, let's get it all out.
So that's no what's going to happen, because other mathematics that's there can just be inverted. So the claim of an object accelerating towards the Earth can just be inverted to be decelerating, losing its initial speed.
Pop him on pause. Can you just check do the YouTube slider for the volume down about 10-20%? It's just a bit loud.
And he's not starting at the beginning either. You need to start at the beginning.
Just let Adam do it the way Adam wants to do it.
He's already told me to go to 39. That's where I went to.
Don't pick her about it.
39.56.
Ladies,
Yeah,
ladies.
well, I went to 53. He had 3 seconds extra.
Just to mind you
Right.
guys, I just put up on the main chat screenshots of my comment in fragments. Pardon
Thank
the
you.
redundancy
Thanks.
of one part.
Thanks. Go, Adam, go.
All right. Yeah.
Right, okay. Right, all right. Aye. She's going to jump, Emma, she's going to jump the fence.
This is top
Oh,
quality
it's
reaction
so
worth
cool.
material. Excellent. He's having a little
It's
natter
coming.
with his wife.
It's coming. Just be patient.
That can be used to make us all look stupid. And about this thing,
The thing that's making you look stupid is when you keep repeating that density is the cause of itself, that density is the cause of its motion through a medium, that the Earth's stationary, right? That's what's going to get it ridiculed, because you're talking through a hole in
Hey,
your
pop him on
arse.
pause.
on national television,
Super relevant.
Okay.
Super relevant commentary.
I know.
Well,
He's saying
there's 2 points there, isn't there?
exactly. Do you want to
Well,
summarise
what?
them, Adam, or do you want me to?
I'll take point 1 for the last one,
Go ahead.
which is a more succinct one, which is that apparently the Earth is moving, or we're the ones that got an issue thinking the Earth isn't moving. And then the first one, you want it?
Well, the first one is to assert that density is the cause of density, I think he said. Something like that. And then he said that density causes a vector change.
We've made that point clear. RDD, relative density disequilibrium. That's what we're saying is going to induce a vector change if we have things where there is a relative density disequilibrium between the object and the medium, and we take that object out of equilibrium. It's going to seek equilibrium.
Sure, but he's challenging the notion that the density affects the vector, the medium density, right? This is something that's been validated scientifically. So there is, as discussed with the pink writing earlier when this stream was members only, a methodology that offers empiricism. So therefore, when we assert the cause of relative density disequilibrium, that would be a vector, any vector, not necessarily up or down, but a vector change. Well, the cause of the vector change was validated scientifically. That was to say that a phenomena was observed. Some things go up, some things go down, some things remain neutral. Well, that's the effect that's being studied. Not induced by man, easy to observe in nature. As described, as the phenomena you would observe in nature. Oh, check out that cloud. Oh, check out that leaf. Yeah? This is a naturally occurring phenomena. Then you suppose the cause of the effect. You formulate a suppositional statement of cause, yet to be validated at this stage. That's called a hypothesis, and it would state that a variation in the density of the medium will induce the natural phenomena observed, and the null, which is a variation in the density of the medium, will not induce any vector change. So you've got both the positive assertion in the form of your suppositional statement of cause and the contrapositive known as the null. Now, the reason it's an empirical statement, as opposed to Dell just hand-waving it and saying it's nonsense to make an assertion in this regard, is because both statements cannot simultaneously be true. You can't have both A cause B, that would be the density of the medium cause the vector change, and A not cause B, variations in density of medium not causing vector change. You can't have both simultaneously be true. Only one can prove true upon experimentation. So you vary the density of the medium. In the case of Anthony, he had an egg in salt water, and he varied the amount of salt, the density of the medium, and induced a vector change. Simple. Well, that was a confirmation, a tick, next to one, not both, of those statements. The alternative hypothesis was confirmed. Now, at that point, you discount, draw a line through, put an X next to the null statement. You have then empirically proven the outcome. The hypothesis has been validated. That is, then, scientific fact. Empirical in nature. So when Dell says, just to say it's relative density, no. We've shown it with experimentation. We're not tossing bottles out of windows. We're formulating hypothesis and then varying and manipulating an assumed cause of the effect to validate either a null or an alternative. Both can't be true. Only one can be. One has been validated, the other discounted. That's the process of science, son. That's how it's done, Jimmy. That's what we've got. Empiricism. I mean, you can hand wave it all you like, but you can probably tell by the tone in my voice. Okay, good for you. Hand wave science. What does that make him, kiddies? What's that? What does it make him if he denies science? Yes, children, what does that make Dell? A science denier! That's right, Jimmy. A science denier. You deny science all you like, Dell. But that's what we've got. What have you got? Chuck this bottle out of the fucking window. Do you? That's lovely, son. Lovely.
On a documentary or something down the line, the reason it can is because one of the things that completely debunks this claim is the fact that there is different acceleration rates for things that are falling from different elevations.
Yes, that's because of surface area and the density of the object and blah, blah, blah. What are you talking about? If I'm standing up a hill and I let a feather go and I let a bowling ball go, the bowling ball hit the ground first. I wonder why. Ooh, this is just basic stuff. What a fucking imbecile. Again, this shows you that they're talking in terms of a vacuum. Like,
so
things fall at different rates in a vacuum.
Well, no. Observe natural phenomena. Yeah? We experience various vector directions of objects in various mediums. Some things go up, some things go down, some things remain neutral. Now, you're talking about dropping things. Bowling ball and feather, he just gave us an example, which I believe he has used from various examples I've seen on other people's shows, specifically Flat Sword, shout out to you. Okay. What about the stuff that goes up, Dell? Now, we weren't kidding when we said we could just debunk this horse shit with a helium balloon or the clouds. Yeah? Oh, you dropped two things. Oh, really? What about the helium balloon? Did that go down? Yeah, that's the end of your argument, Dave. Who are we talking about? Dell. That's the end of your argument, Dell. Yeah, not all things go down. Some things go up. But as a phenomena, we can explain why. Yeah? And as for, it's the density of the item. No. It's the density of the medium. With respect to the item in it. Relative density. You don't even understand the title by the sounds of things. No, it's very specific. It's in the name. Relative density. And then disequilibrium. That would be the vector described in the phenomena. So we can categorize and disseminate our claims, which aren't necessary. The reason we've gone through this process is simply to debunk gravity in the first instance, but further to that, as a discussion point between Anthony Riley, that sleeping warrior, and Arwin, to get a better handle on why things actually occur in our known existence. Not because we need to make any claims about it. We don't. Serves us no purpose. I don't know why you're attacking us on it. We don't serve any benefit. Okay, let's say you prove right when you only drop things and don't observe the things going up. Well, okay. So what? What does that prove? You say it extrapolates out into the Earth moving up. All right. So your cause is Earth moving up. Now, with our cause, the variation and manipulation of the assumed cause of the effect took place in an experiment. The assumed cause was the density of the medium. That was what was varied. Let's see if Dell can put his assumed cause of Earth moving up into some form of variation by him, the researcher. Oh, it can't be. It's pie in the sky speculation, incapable of variation or manipulation in any way, shape or form. We just have to accept the supposition without validation, because that's all it is. It's a supposition of cause. Dell supposes that the Earth moves up. Well, in science, we have a methodology for establishing whether or not that's the case, Dell. You vary and manipulate that which you assume causes the effect and see if it actually causes it or not. We have done this. You have not.
I don't even know. It's so difficult to grasp the stupidity that these people keep regurgitating.
Right, which means
we don't need to respond.
We've not really responded to it. We're just stupid.
I'm more than happy, Adam, to just hear the ad homs, just completely ignore them, and just move on to wherever he makes a claim. If it happens to take us 6 minutes to get through all of his stupid ad homs, then okay, so be it. We'll just go through it. He'll get silence as a response, and then we'll get to an actual claim and deal with it when it comes.
That the upward moving Earth, right, which is actually claimed to be accelerating itself, which is completely nonsense.
No, it's not. Some people might. I certainly don't. Never have done.
Right. So this, from the bits I've heard, is important. If Dell's making a differentiation that this upward moving Earth is not accelerating, but moving at a constant speed, and I think I've heard that claim also, that when things drop, they don't accelerate to down. If I pick up a brick, it's not accelerating at 9.8 meters per second at that rate. It's just traveling relatively down at 9.8 meters per second, caused by the Earth coming up at 9.8 meters per second. Now, this seems to be contradictable by A-level physics, where you go off to show to yourself what Newtonian gravity acceleration is. So you drop things, ball bearings at different heights, and measure the speed it takes, and you calculate the rate of acceleration. This seems to be demonstrable in the real world, that if we drop something, it's not going at a constant speed, but is subject to an acceleration. Now, we can look at Baumgartner and see that acceleration rate greater than 9.8 and then less than 9.8 in his descent. But to deny that there's an acceleration would be, again, here for me here, denying reality, the things we can observe and measure.
Would it be fair to say that he's claiming that not changing in velocity is causing changes in velocity?
I don't know. All I'm hearing is it's not an acceleration, it's a speed, constant speed.
Still a cause that he's asserting, though, isn't it? It's a supposition of cause, isn't it? The thing's going down.
Yeah, because they're not going down. The Earth's coming up.
Right.
What I'm hearing. Yeah,
every time it's clarified, Adam, I'm just going to repeat Quantum Eraser's sentiments on this. This is easily debunked with a helium balloon.
Exactly. If that's the claim, fundamentally, yes. Because even if we've not got an acceleration, we've just got a constant speed. Why does the helium balloon go up? It should just stay there and wait for the Earth to catch it up, shouldn't it?
Right. But further to that, it's a supposition of cause. So if you're going to say, I assert that the cause of things moving down when not all things move down is that the Earth's moving up, well, there you go. You've got a causal statement there. And cause and effect reasoning with an empirical outcome has an investigative methodology available to you, Del. The one that we use to validate relative density disequilibrium and the cause thereof. So, you know, I don't know. You can get as angry as you like about this. Tell us that we're all idiots and we don't understand, and then poo-poo something that's been scientifically validated. But you're going to have me putting on a child's voice and calling you a science denier, because that's what you're doing, denying science, something that has gone through the scientific method. Okay? No worries. Tell us we're stupid. Do we sound particularly phased? Not really. Gotta be honest. You sound very triggered by this, though, Del.
Never have done. So what are you talking about, son?
Adam would tear that apart, you know, later on, because I leave that to Adam.
Oh,
But
the great Adam. Can't wait to hear the words of wisdom from the great Adam.
What a guy. I didn't know it was there. I knew I'd heard it. Cheers, bro. Good gentleman.
That's funny, though.
Well, if you were looking forward to hearing Adam, he would also echo the sentiments of myself and Quantum Eraser in that regard, and has. This is debunked by a helium balloon. There you go. You were waiting for Adam's words on the subject. They're the same as everyone else's. This is garbage. Hasn't been through the scientific method. It's an assertion.
I just want to caveat.
Go on.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. I just want to caveat. I said the claims that were coming to us, not from Dell, but from secondary sources, were debunked with the helium balloon. I have yet to hear the actual claim. I honestly, I don't know what the claim is. What is it? Can somebody tell me that?
Earth moving up.
Anyone?
Earth
Yeah.
moving up. That's the
Earth
claim.
moving up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. That is the claim.
Oh.
The Earth is moving up. He just said
I
it.
didn't hear him make that claim yet.
He just said it. He
Did
said
he?
it like 20 seconds ago.
I'm sorry.
You just rewind.
No, he said it's not
He's been
accelerating up.
reifying it, so-
Yeah, he's rather than qualifying it by saying Earth is moving up as a cause, he's saying, I'm not saying it's accelerating up. Okay, so it's just moving up then, not accelerating, but moving at a constant. I don't care how I paraphrase it. I'm pretty clear about what the claim is here. And if he's
And
not
that's
saying
why
it's moving up, then there is no claim here.
And that's why I said in my
It would be
comment,
completely
that's why-
pointless. If it's not accelerating up, then the entire paradigm wouldn't even wouldn't do anything.
Are you saying
That's
he's being
ridiculous.
ambiguous, Kiwi?
I'm not saying, I didn't hear him say that the Earth was moving up.
He didn't. Okay, I was corrected. What he said was, I'm not saying it's accelerating upwards.
So ipso facto, it's not accelerating up, but it's moving up. is
Not
what you're saying.
necessarily. He could just be being ambiguous, and he's not saying that at all. And the next response will be, hey, Jimmy, you didn't understand that when I said it's not accelerating up, that don't mean I mean it's moving up. And what the hell are you moving? What the hell are you claiming then? If it's at that point, you know, maybe that's the point, just to baffle people with bullshit.
That's why I nipped it all in the bud and just said, I don't care whether you're saying it's accelerating, moving slow as hell. It's not moving, period. End of story.
It doesn't. Yeah, but
Slow,
it wouldn't
fast,
be. There would be
mediocre.
no point if it weren't accelerating. If it's just moving, then how is it supposed to be the presuppositional cause of the density axis, right? It makes no sense then. So he's just watering it. He's just making a mess.
Can we stick with relative density disequilibrium there? Because that's density axis is going to convert it. It's relative density disequilibrium that we're claiming is the forces, pressure forces that play out. Yeah. What's being, whether this is an acceleration or an upward speed, that's what's being invoked for things moving. Right, that's and this is the weird thing in this causation. that there is no relative density disequilibrium to play out. The Earth is moving up, whether it's accelerating or by a speed. That's what I can't tell. But I've gone back 30 seconds at Righteous's request, so I'll start there. Yeah.
That these people keep regurgitating.
Right, which means that the upward moving Earth, right, which is actually claimed to be accelerating itself, which is completely nonsense.
No, it's not. Some people might. I certainly don't. Never have done. Never have done. So what are you talking about, son?
Adam would tear that apart, later on, because I leave that to Adam.
Oh,
But
the great Adam. Can't wait to hear the words of wisdom from the great Adam.
I think I'm starting to like this boy more and more every time I hear that. To me, that seemed Brian put the proposition that it was an upward accelerating Earth, and the denial seemed to be denial to acceleration. I can't hold doubt to that because it's not being made clear what his position is. But that's how I can only interpret his response to Brian.
Okay, just before we move on, let's make our position clear. We don't have a position in this regard because we don't have a claim. There's nothing for us to claim. There's no importance to us laying any claim. There's no reason for us to lay a claim. However, in spite of us having no claim, we have scientific validity for the cause of relative density disequilibrium. That would be vectors. Doesn't matter if it's down, like with your bowling ball and feather, or up in the case of helium balloons and clouds. We can explain why that happens with empiricism behind it. Just in case people want to juxtapose the you don't know what you're talking about, no, I'm not saying that, versus we don't have a claim. However, we have scientific validity for relative density disequilibrium and the cause thereof. Just so it's concise on our side and ambiguous on his.
Well, if I could draw an implicit.
Refraction. I'd paused it.
I was going to say, if I could draw an implicit claim from the information I have so far, is it seems as if the not accelerating Earth is causing acceleration. And I would just like to see if he would agree with that statement.
No, I don't think he would. I don't. See, at the first bit where John said we weren't at that point yet, I'm sure within that there was the point that things are just falling at a speed, they're not accelerating. That appears to be, from what I've managed to pick up, part of what Dell's saying, that things are falling at their own speeds, but they're not per se accelerating, therefore changing speed as they continue to fall. That fall is not an acceleration.
Play on, Adam.
I just
hold on.
I think that Dell's really just being oppositional in that moment. He's just playing it and being in opposition of it. He's not really carefully thinking about what's being said when he's playing that. He's just being oppositional, and then he comes to the point, no, I'm not accelerating, because that's what Brian said. So he's not, right? He's playing a social game. His feelings are guiding him in this process, not his insight. That's my conclusion.
If you pick something up and drop it, it is by definition changing velocity. How is that not an acceleration?
Can I just get one of you? I don't know. I don't mind who, before you get into this, to just address a specific chat commenter's comment. Just going to read it out. Quinlan 1977, specifically directed to one of the chat mods, Divergent Droid. I'm going to put it to the chat, or you guys, I should say. You can absolutely apply Newton's laws on non-inertial frames or reference frames. When you describe a merry-go-round, you can use Newton's laws. Do you want me to repeat that?
No. That's what I asked QE to highlight, when we did that the other week.
Yeah, this is going to be on Ballbusters on Saturday, Quinlan. But we don't mind covering it now, hopefully. I know I've just completely sabotaged Arwin and John's discussion, though. But I just wanted it to be on screen.
Well, you could probably apply Newton's force, but, as the fictitious force of Coriolis and all that, right? in a
Right.
fictitious setting.
It's all down to Newton. Have you got it, John? This
Yeah,
is not us. This is Newton.
Go ahead and make the claim again, Nathan. Say the comment that he just said. Stop, and then I will begin.
Okay. You can absolutely apply Newton's laws on non-inertial reference frames.
From Boston University Physics Department. A good question to ask is, do Newton's laws apply all the time? In most cases, they do. But if we're trying to analyze motion in an accelerated reference frame while we're spinning around would be a good example, then Newton's laws are not valid. A reference frame in which Newton's laws are valid is known as an inertial reference frame. You idiot crayon muncher. You would fail intro to junior high level physics. Thank you for your comment. Out.
So no, Quinlan 1977. No.
Yeah. In a centrifugal setting, it would definitely not apply.
Shout
Like
out
that.
to
Well, to be
shout out to the price of Adam. He says, "Remember, all ether is love." Thank you for the super chat.
well, I would have failed too if it wasn't for the little chat we had in the pre-show. So I'll just I'll just put that out there, I guess.
Say 3 Hail Marys and you will be resolved righteous after that minor mistake.
Get a law if it doesn't apply all the time.
It's not a law, no.
No, they're all debunked. Newton's laws are debunked. All classical mechanics as a whole is debunked. It depends on what paradigm that you're speaking to as your benchmark on who debunks it. We went over this in the pre-show.
Baller on baller would be Einstein, fourth dimensional pseudo four-space time bending, debunking the Euclidean 3D laws of Newton. If you're talking about physical reality, then you're talking about quantum mechanics debunking Newton, but it was already out of date by the time quantum mechanics superseded bendy 4D spacetime. So chronologically, it's surplus to say that you've got a debunking by Einstein when you get to quantum mechanics, as it's already been superseded anyway.
That's not the point, I don't think. Certainly not what smacks me. Or smack me and why I asked John to bring it. Forget all that. It's irrelevant. Newton says you can't use it there. It's not whether Newton's pure description of physics is correct and therefore invalid. It's the fact that Newton says that no, they're not applicable there. As the simple thing. If you're on a spinning roundabout, well, you can't use the laws I've wrote there. They're not applicable. This is why I would defend and say they're perfectly fine mechanical laws, because they're defined of where you can use them. And what you certainly can't use them on is a roundabout or a spinning ball earth. That's what's powerful. That is within its own definition that you cannot use it there. Yet the ballers try to. That's the point. I.e., here, if we're on a spinning ball earth.
So Newton's
I have a
laws
question.
are not
Excuse me.
applicable all the time.
Hold
No,
on,
And what's the
D-Rose.
law?
they
man?
are
Hold on, everyone stop.
applicable.
Everyone stop. D-Rose, just have to wait till John. Go ahead, John, then D-Rose.
I was going to say, we're going to define natural law as something that occurs always, and then we're going to say that this is a law. I don't think.
No.
Yeah, they were
it's-
never
it's-
natural laws to begin with. Thank you, John.
I don't disagree with that, but it doesn't break the law because the law never claimed it worked on a spinning reference frame. It specifically points out it's for an inertial, not a non-inertial rotating reference frame. It's not applicable there. So it's making the statement of where it applies. So it's not, like I say, we're not debunking anything here. We're just highlighting that they've misused something against its own warranty, for want of a
Right.
better phrase.
Correct. So can we move on?
I just wanted to I just want to say something.
Yeah,
moving
hold
on
on,
to
Brian.
concept.
Hold on, Brian. Go ahead, D-Rose.
I'll be brief. I didn't even know who Dell was because when I caught the middle of it, when you were speaking about him the other day, I didn't
catch the beginning, so I thought you was arguing about Nathan's computer, Dell or whatever. But now that I know who he is, I don't know. Is this guy a anti-flat earther, wannabe heliocentric scholar, or is he a flat society flat earther? Because he went on in the video about being accused of being flat society, which means he didn't even listen to our entire show because we never said he was. We just said that the claim of accelerating upward moving Earth was correlative to the flat Earth society um, claim. So, what is he? Is he a flat earther that's upset at other flat earthers for misconstruing his rhetoric, or is he an anti-flat earther just
Okay,
being an
Dell's a flat.
asshole like they always are?
Okay, Dell's a flat earther, but it shouldn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I was just curious to know, I'm trying to put everything into context. Like I said, never heard of the guy, never knew the guy until y'all started talking about him recently, and then I saw his video.
Sure, but if there's something interesting in the the claims that he is making, then we want to hear him. But obviously, we need to hear him in a concise manner, and we're just not. Right, Adam, do you want to? Oh no, John, go ahead. Or Brian, sorry, go ahead.
No, Brian's not here. That was Brian on the video because I paused.
Oh, go ahead, Adam.
So I'll press play.
Adam.
If they claim it's constantly up, moving up at a constant rate, the fact of the matter is I can drop something from a low elevation and I can drop the same thing from a high elevation and the impact force will be greater.
Yes, that's because it has less time to decelerate. Right?
Pause it, please.
Let me see.
Sorry, he walked into that one, Dell. Did he not mention that what he was dropping was helium balloons and the impact force was on the ceiling? Did he not mention that? You assumed that the thing was going downwards. Oh, well, that was a big mistake, Dell. Because they weren't. What he dropped was helium balloons. Oh dear, that's the end of your argument.
That's important, that. Because the claim is it's got less time to decelerate, which is still an acceleration. But ahead of there. But what's that helium balloon doing? What's it doing? Because that, in his world, is accelerating. If we're going to use dropping as a deceleration, then that helium balloon is accelerating. So it's. I need to see the explanation, so I'll press play.
What's going on here? Where's my stuff went? What the hell's going on here? Right, and the reference frame again. Right, so from this sort of position, it has less time to decelerate. Right, so it's still moving. If that was 1,000 miles an hour that this was moving, right, it's still losing its momentum. But if you drop it from up here, by the time the Earth gets to it, it's lost that momentum in the upwards direction.
He didn't say he was dropping something solid through the medium of air, Dell. You've assumed that with your biases towards Earth moving up. But in fact, he was describing the impact on the ceiling of a helium balloon. That's twice. Yeah, Jimmy, we don't need to get all angry about this. We can just point out that your assumption of all things moving down and the Earth coming up to meet them versus its accelerative force of the item is completely debunked when you do this exact same example with a helium balloon.
I'm just trying to. Obviously, the claim of the Earth moving up is apparent now.
Let me just check with QE.
Yeah, I'm still not getting a concise claim. I'm half to taking implications of things. I'm just
Excuse
not
me?
getting it.
He's just said, when he's just drawn an arrow next to a diagram and explained the deceleration versus the up of the ground coming towards the item. That's what he's just described. Earth moving up. How could that be any less clear?
I'm sorry, I was in the bathroom.
Can you play that again for QE?
Yeah.
That's what a crush will do to you.
What the hell's going on here? Right, and the reference frame again. Right, so from this sort of position, it has less time to decelerate. Right, so it's still moving. If that was 1,000 miles an hour that this was moving, right, it's still losing its momentum.
Pause.
But if you drop it from up here,
If that was 1,000 miles an hour that this was moving, and he drew an arrow up next to the quote reference frame, actually a square.
Yeah, I'm not getting the reference frame. What is it this in relation to?
That doesn't matter. Just do you now follow that he's describing that quote reference frame moving up at 1,000 miles an hour as per his description?
Yes.
So that's his claim.
Right. So then when you pick the rock up, you're still on the earth and you're moving 1,000 in the same direction. You let go of the rock, it retains its tangential velocity, but it can't maintain it because it's not being pushed up by the earth anymore. So it starts to decelerate. So it now is moving at, let's say after the first second, at 9.8 meters per second, or it's decelerated by that much. So therefore the differential between that it had, because it's now no longer 1,000, it's at 998, yeah, whatever. But the Earth's still coming up, and a second later, then it's decelerating, even though acceleration doesn't exist. So I assume it's decelerating by a rate, therefore that's growing as an acceleration still. So by the time this one here, the higher one, by the time the Earth catches up, it's decelerated a lot more than the one here. So the net difference is not zero. It's bigger, the net difference when you drop it from here as to when you drop it here, because it's had more time to decelerate here and change its differential speed of 1,000 miles an hour to that of the Earth. I think that's my understanding.
So the box reference frame in this diagram is allegedly the Earth, is what you're telling me.
I think that's yeah. I don't know what the air's doing, whether that is invoking that as that's all moving up at 1,000 miles an hour, or it sits as a separate reference frame to the non-inertial moving upwards reference frame.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still not getting. I know this is going to frustrate you, Nathan, but I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm still not hearing a clear, concise claim up to this point.
That's not going to frustrate me. That's intentional on Dell's part, or he doesn't have a decent enough claim to be able to lay it down in a consistent manner. In the same way, I'm going to do it again. We, who don't have any necessity to make any claim in this regard whatsoever, but as a result of debunking gravity and a journey of discovery between a couple of panel members, has led us to offer up scientific empiricism for the phenomena of vector change. And the reason is down to the density of the medium, relative to the item in it. Hence the title, Relative Density Disequilibrium. We're not talking about things in fall arrest. We're not talking about things in equilibrium. We're talking about when things move, be it up or down. So that's what we're offering scientific validity for, with a cause and effect relationship laid down in a hypothesis after observing phenomena and then varying and manipulating the density of a medium to induce the phenomena of vector change. Ergo, scientific empiricism for an inconsequential claim that we don't really have any stake in. Doesn't make any difference to my world. All right, it's nice that I know that. So what's that change about the world? Nothing really. Doesn't mean it's flat, doesn't mean it's moving, doesn't mean anything. What's that? Well, Dell says the whole world's moving up. All right, did he vary and manipulate that which he assumed causes the effect? We did. What, it's just a supposition in a diagram about a reference frame, end quote. Yeah, okay. Good on you, Dell. Great. Good stuff.
by the time the Earth gets to it, it's lost that momentum in the upwards direction. So it's going to have a bigger impact, you complete and utter retard.
Wow.
Okay.
So things don't fall, they lose their upward momentum, and that's why it hits at different amounts of force, as Brian, I think, was alluding to. So I was correct then. That is the assumption. It's the loss of any tangential velocity or retention of speed that you have whilst in contact with the Earth. I'll come back to that that helium balloon. How is it? See, we've got a first law violation, haven't we? For that helium balloon to make sense in this paradigm. If the reason things are occurring, why does the helium balloon, when released, suddenly gain extra energy to increase in speed past the rate of the accelerating Earth? So it's now going more than 1,000 miles an hour. Where does it get that from?
Get what? A first law of thermodynamics violation from?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, you see, Del, your shite violates natural law. Things that occur always. Yeah, you're not going to impart energy on this balloon going up in your paradigm of the world moving up. It's, what's the word? Bollocks, Jimmy.
From a higher elevation. Now, I, as the bowler, could take that.
This is what I'm saying about the keeper certain, that people like me are claiming the objects are the things that are moving. That's not what's being claimed here. That's impossible.
Pause it, please.
You need a cause.
Right, just for Del's audience, I'll appeal to you if you happen to cross-pollinate with us. He's just told you when describing something moving from the top of a reference frame to the bottom of a reference frame, that it's not actually moving. They keep asserting that this thing's moving. So Del wants you to deny the very evidence of your own fucking eyes. That's what he's asking you to do to believe in his paradigm. Deny the evidence of your own bloody eyes. Okay? I'm not going to do that, Del.
Causal factor, you need a force to make objects move. We have demonstrated that there's no displacement of gas and liquid in the downward vector when there is a claim of acceleration. You need magical acceleration in order for that to be true. The claim here is that it's a deceleration, a loss of its momentum.
He doesn't know what acceleration means.
So as things move faster towards the ground, he thinks that's a loss and not an acceleration.
Yeah, he's presupposing the whole thing is accelerating. So prove that the entire Earth is accelerating within physics, Del. Well, good luck.
Yeah, within his description.
Listen to that again.
He can't. He doesn't know what acceleration means.
I got lost in that. I don't know whether he's talking about this in context of his previous example, or this is just a claim standing on its own. Go, Adam. Can you make any sense of this?
I'm not sure there. I've gone back 20 seconds. I'd like to listen to that bit again because I think the air's accelerating as well, as far as I can see. So in defiance of gas law.
So the air is what you're saying is the air or the atmo is accelerating. It's not accelerating. It's because he said he doesn't claim that the Earth is accelerating. For fuck's sake!
But that's all one reference.
What is his claim?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
but that was
ground
in the moment because he needed to deny whatever we were talking about. He's just being incoherent.
But the ground and the atmo were. I know this is one I want to hear. Is that one reference frame? Because that's obviously we've got that familiar concept, haven't we? Where we're in lockstepedness with a rotating or upward accelerating Earth. But lockstepedness of the air would negate or keep us in one reference frame, and that appears to be the claim. So I've gone back and I'll play it again.
We have demonstrated that there's no displacement of gas and liquid in the downward vector when there is a claim of acceleration.
There is no displacement of gas or liquid in the downward vector. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
I don't know what that.
I think he's talking about a bottle. I think he's talking about a bottle.
Oh, now we're with the bottle.
He doesn't know what it means either, though. That's the point. Dale doesn't know what the words he's using mean.
I'll press
Nathan,
play
are
if
you
we can
getting
get more.
anything out of it?
Sorry, John.
No, I'm sorry. I wanted to ask Nathan. Nathan, do you understand what he just said? Where are we at? Are we in the friggin' bottle? Are we on the earth? Are we in the square? What reference frame are we in? I don't get it. I'm sorry. I'm totally confused.
Which
We're
reference
in the
frame would
bottle,
you?
Joey.
Which reference frame do you want to be in?
In a half mile.
Go on.
Well, Dell was talking about the bottle, so yeah.
Okay.
So now we're back
Hold
to
on.
the
Quick shout
bottle.
out.
Oh,
This one's been paid for.
go ahead.
Go ahead, D-Rose. He's on the panel, but super chatting me. Thank you very much for the super chat, D-Rose. Really appreciate it. He says, Dell and the rest of these liars are C-list aspiring magicians with audiences believing Copperfield actually elevates elephants 20 foot off the ground, are gullible, foolish, and anti-critical thinking. Thank you for the super chat.
I've
Yeah,
got
that's
to
a color
disagree with a lot of
commentary.
it. I don't
That's
think.
color commentary.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. That's color commentary. We need to get down to particulars here.
All right, let's. Brian's joined.
Don't criticize my
Um,
super chat.
He paid for that.
Yeah, look, it got more comment because we disagreed with it than if we'd have just nodded. So you got value for money, D Rose. I'll press play again. Brian, good to see you back. We're reviewing the vid, mate. So confusing now. If Brian comes in, it might not necessarily be the video, but there we go.
You need
Okay,
magical
I'm driving.
acceleration in order for that to be true. The claim here is that it's a deceleration, a loss of its momentum.
There you go. Okay.
A deceleration, a loss of its momentum of what?
Okay. So
Of everything that he presupposes is accelerating. That's the whole point.
So we're back to globiolis here, aren't we? We're back to retention of tangential momentum, yeah. Forward momentum. That's what the. It's not even that. It's the differential of that force when you're no longer having it applied to you, which will cause ordering of things of different relative density. So that's the directional push force that's doing it in an upward motion for things that are heavier than the medium in which they're in. And you can use that and maybe use that as an apologetics and get to a plausible thing. But all we've got to do is go back to that helium balloon at this point. What's making it go up faster than the Earth when you let go? And if that is relative density disequilibrium, then what is going off when we drop something? Suddenly, does that stop being in effect, or is it supplemented by your upward moving Earth? This thing that we can't see. See, it becomes nonsensical, and this is when I ask about what's happening with the air. If we let the helium balloon go, is the air exhibiting gas behavior whilst also upward accelerating at 9.8 meters per second? And that's the analogy to globiolis when we take off. The air is moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour as well as exhibiting gas behavior. This appears to be the only way you get out of what's being described.
Quick shout out to Michael Kahn, who says, skip to Dell's car and balloon diagram. Presumably that will clarify the claim. Do you know where that is?
We're not.
Now, that's the point I'm making. Okay, so when we've got the car and we've got the balloon in the car and the car accelerates and pulls off, the balloon goes forwards, doesn't it? And what force has acted on the balloon? Nothing. The only thing that's happened is the gas in the car has continued, even though the car's accelerated, the gas has continued to do whatever it's doing. Yeah, it's not affected by the motion of the car, its next movement, unless the position it was about to take up, right, after its last collision, is now occupied by the back of the car because the car's moving forward. Gas is still doing what it was doing. So suddenly, We've not got the gas doing out, but the car is scooping. It's scooping, and that creates a flow, and that flow can only go one way because of entropy, because we've now got higher pressure at the back because of the scooping. So it's going to dissipate forwards into the car, which will have one effect on the balloon to make the balloon move. That, if you apply that effect to an upward moving Earth, everybody would look like Marilyn Monroe on the New York streets. The skirts would be blowing up, wouldn't they? Because we've got an upward movement of 1,000 or whatever speed you want to attribute. But you've always got an upward blowing wind on top of whatever the wind's doing in that situation, as exemplified by the balloon in a car.
One of my first, it might be a little bit of background noise here. One of my first critiques of this, one of the very first ones was that a stone, if you drop a stone, it can't fall faster than a helium balloon can rise. If the stone is only going down because it's not going down. You know what I mean? It can't. So the rate that the stone is falling at, the balloon must rise at that same rate, and that doesn't happen. The balloon doesn't go up at the same rate the stone goes down.
Of course it doesn't, because the density disequilibrium ratio between the medium and the object, even though one's positive and one's negative, are not on the same scale. They're exponentially different in terms of the RDD of the medium and the object and the medium and the object. That, like I said, one's positive, one's negative, but even if you ignore that, they're exponentially different.
Can I add something here? Or are you thinking not? Nathan?
Yeah, go ahead.
At this point, this is so convoluted. As a simple man, I'm not getting it. So, is this scientific evidence of our reality? Is my first question. And it depends on what you say, not you, Nathan. The people making this claim. The first question is this natural science? Then, if it is, then I'm going to need the observed natural phenomena. And then I'm going to need the hypothesis. That is, independent and dependent variable. If this is a natural cause and effect relationship, I need to see that. That's my default position right now, because I can't get through this. But so convoluted, I don't know, between examples, going back and forth between each other, between different examples, I'm not getting it. So that's my default.
With that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. Thank you for smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a member, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you are watching on an after show. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!